What's up, guys? We got Steven with Grow It, We Mow It. I'm about to get it started.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Addicted to Success podcast, where we talk about success in all forms: small business, motivation, personal development, inspiration, and overcoming obstacles and adversity like a fucking pro. What's up, man? I'm glad made it to Georgia. We're in a nice park, so if there's any audio interference or somebody comes by screaming, excuse the noise. But
Yep.
So excited to get it, man. Followed you on TikTok, man. The thing I like about you the most is there is no bullshit with you. You're helping people, and it's not like something you're just doing for views. I can tell that you're actually wanting to help people grow, and that's the kind of the same thing I do with my Lawn Ninja. So when I started doing these podcasts, I said he's one of the first ones I want to go see. So glad to have you here, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, well, let's get started. What got you into the lawn care and landscaping industry? Why did you decide to start your own business in lawn care and landscaping?
So we had to take it back from the beginning. I started cutting grass when I was a kid with a push mower, 2-gallon gas can, just like a lot of other people started. Man, we grew up dirt poor, so I needed shoe money, and that's how I went and got my shoe money. Before my daughter was born, she's 13 now, so I'll say about 14 years ago, I started working with a company, Association Services. We did a lot of HOA neighborhoods, the entrances, the round of retention ponds, etc. I did that for about 3 years, and then his company went under, and then I went back into the field of being a mechanic. That's my master trade. So fast forward, long story short, I started doing it in my neighborhood as a joke. I posted in my neighborhood, the Facebook page, $30 lawn cuts. And next thing I know, I had 20, 30 yards. And then I knew it was serious when people outside of the neighborhood was calling me. And that's when I took it serious and just full throttle, pedal to the metal, and haven't looked in the rear view since. So that's how I got started in lawn care. Why I started in lawn care, to me, cutting grass is an easier industry to get into. You don't need a lot of money. You just need certain equipments to get you where you're going, and then save, and then build up and go from there.
Oh yeah, that's why I went. I knew I wanted to be some type of entrepreneur. I just had a kid. I was needing to make more money, and and I'd been working for other companies and stuff, so I understood lawn care. So it was the easiest thing for me to get into, and I felt like it was easier. And it's actually, I would have a conversation on, it could be one of the hardest because it's so saturated, especially your first year.
Man,
because everyone thinks they can go into the lawn care business, and then you're competing with people, $20, $30 lawns, and everybody's there at the beginning, but when you're actually running a business, it is hard because there are some people showing up for at least a few visits like that.
Yep,
so that's kind of like one of the lesser evils of it. But I was the same way. I just needed to make more money, and I had the skill of lawn care, so all I really needed to learn was the business and the marketing and the stuff like that. So I've met people that had to do both, and it didn't turn out well at all. So do you do more primarily landscaping or lawn care, or a little both? Or what's your percentage rate on?
If I had to put a percentage rate on it, I'll say 75% is lawn care, and then the other 25% is landscaping. That's flower bed, mulch. We remove hedges, we install hedges, pavers. We do the whole nine. But bulk of the business is lawn care, I would say, if I had to say that.
Heck yeah. Well, we're trying to transition more into the projects, more into the actual landscaping, $10, $20, $30,000
big money jobs
or more, just because I'm to the point where I want to be able to hire higher value employees. With lawn care, what people don't realize, there's so much time prepping, driving, and all that, and you're not clocking these guys in and out, and then you go do a $50, $60 yard. The margins are small.
Way smaller than a larger landscape
job. So I've learned that, and then, because my margins are small, and because, I have to be able, I can't pay as much as I could pay a welder.
Yep.
So I want to develop more of a business that, yes, I have entry-level guys coming in, running weed eaters and stuff like that, but I also want to eventually get them to, they could have a career and actually have something solid, make a check, make something that they can grow in their life, and they think that the company I'm working for is the best company for them.
And another thing, just to add on to that, is, to me, lawn care is a grind, a hustle. You got to chase let's say the $50 to $65 yards. A large landscape job, like you said, 30 to 50,000 is a lot more than doing, let's say, 100 yards. That's why I would love to jump more into the landscape, because during the off season we do a lot of hardscape, and the checks from that versus lawn care, night and day. And I'm sure you can agree with that.
Well, not only that, it's the ease. If I go do a $20,000 project, then I have to put so much labor there, finish it, and then I get one check. To bring in $20,000 worth of revenue, trimming bushes and cutting yards, do you know how many invoices, how many whatevers, how many, you got to send out to get the same amount of money?
It's a lot of time behind the scenes, billing, invoicing, marketing, planning, and then you get a larger reward. Lawn care, you still do all the behind the scenes, the invoicing, the prepping and all that, but 50 yards to equal even anywhere near that. If it would be more than 50 yards, but you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. Well, I also like I just like that less headache of it, and I feel like I'm letting a $60 job call me and take time out of my day to bitch about something that's really not that big of a deal.
You're right.
When I'm on a huge project, it's like, are you really calling me about a $5 mistake right now?
No, you're right. That is a good point.
So, but also lawn care is so important to developing the trust with your customers so you can land those big jobs. I know with my customers, pretty much they're going to come to me and tell me what they need done. And if I can't do it, they're going to go with my recommendation because I have built up so much trust. I have showed up every week or every other week. I have done my job. I have built trust with them. So
trust is key.
It's just lawn care is the devil of the lawn when you're trying to do both.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of guys that only mow. There's a U.S. Lawns where I live, and they only mow and trim bushes, and they do millions and millions of dollars worth a year. He don't really mess with it, and he has got that. He cranks up 20 mowers a day.
But is he doing residential or is he doing large commercial?
He's got completely out of residential. He was at first, but he's completely just big.
To land like big warehouses.
Oh, yeah. He shows up he does the Ellisville State School where I'm from, and they'll take 7 mowers for 2 10-hour days. 7 mowers, 20. So 7 times 20. I don't even know. That's a lot of damn man. That's 140 man hours. Yeah. That's every week.
Oh, is that every week?
And then he sends 7 men with a weed eater 1 day a week to get it. And so a 7-man crew, 3 days a week.
That's a lot of men.
One job. Yeah. But you can't even compete with that. I don't have 7 mowers.
Yeah.
I don't even have 7 extra mowers with my one.
No, you're right. It's hard to bid those.
He gets the job that no one else can get because nobody's got 7 mowers that they can.
That's a lot of the warehouses, the larger commercial jobs around here. You just can't bid with them. Them guys are showing up, like you said, 7 to 10 mowers. We're gonna bid it for our time, which is 3 mowers top, if you know what I'm saying, maybe 2, and that's gonna take us a little longer. So we got to charge a little more. So you can't compete with them larger companies. And at the end of the day, I let them have them big warehouse jobs. Really it don't appease me. There's, like you said, there's more that goes into a larger job like that. They're gonna call more. It's just more. I'm to the point now, Ninja, that I want to grow large, but I also sit back and think about all the headaches that these larger companies have. Is the extra revenue worth?
Exactly.
And that's another thing why you go into the landscaping part of it. One job, one customer, less headache, larger reward.
Exactly. Now with the higher value jobs and stuff, there's obviously a higher level of customer service when they're writing a check for that, and that does kind of get annoying, but that's kind of where I'm going, and especially since they came after me with my landscaping license, so that was a whole nother story.
The devil is alive. But it's always trying to stop somebody, I'm telling you right now.
So how long you been doing this, man?
Oh, man, I've been doing lawn care. Like I said at the beginning, I started off push mower with a gas can when I was a kid, around about 10 or 11. I didn't start taking it, seriously until I started working right before my daughter was born. And you have a kid, you understand by any means necessary to pay bills and provide for your family. So it was about a year into that. I was like, you know what, I'm pretty good at this. That's why people ask me, how do you edge with a weed eater like that? Well, that's what we did. We didn't use stick edgers. And when you're doing a large entrance, just You eventually
That's
get
how
good
we
at
do
it.
too.
So, but professionally, I've been doing it about going on 6.5 years. Professionally, I would say getting paid like we are. That's to me professionally.
Oh yeah. Well, I did the same thing when I had my daughter. It was just like, oh my gosh, I have got to make money. There is somebody that calls me daddy and that is always going to need stuff. So that was obviously one of my biggest things too. How many employees you got?
I have one full-time and one part-time.
How do you work your part-time guy?
On larger jobs, or let's say like Thursdays, Tuesdays, and it alternates on each week. But I have larger days that we do just probably too many properties, I would say. And that goes back to route optimization, crunch them numbers down. But I bring him in. He does his own thing on the side, not lawn care. So he has income coming in. So when I hit him up, and I also pay him good too. So.
You know, it's funny. I do the same exact thing. I have a set guy, but I also have a couple part-time guys that are always wanting to come work on or make some extra money. And, you know, it helps. Like if I get behind on the schedule, I can throw another guy on the truck and be like, especially if it's raining or something, okay, you're nothing but sticks and blower today. And that way me and the other guy mow and weed eat, and we can do 1.5 times the list in one day. So it's just, you know, figuring out how you can get it done and using those part-time guys. Another thing that I've been doing is I've been using guys from other companies, already trained up Spanish guys, trained up crew leaders, guys that do this every day for a living. I come to them and say, hey, you like weekend money? And I've never had one of them say no. And so it does cost me more. Yeah. I do pay about $3-4 more an hour, but the headache is so much nicer. Like I'll show up on Saturday, give them all the equipment, line them out on the job. I might swing by at lunch, but usually not to double check. But at the end of the day, they're going to call me, finish. I'm going to check it, get the check, pay them.
The extra $3 to $4 an hour is worth it. That experience, man. I'm sure you've been through the ringer with new guys.
Oh man,
a lot of people that I've experienced in lawn care, they're not attention to detail. That's all lawn care is. We can all cut grass. And that's why I don't post on TikTok how to cut pretty grass. I want to teach them the business. Yeah. Everybody can cut grass. We can grab somebody out this park and put them on a mower, and by the end of the day, they would know how to mow, somewhat string trim. I mean, you can mess up a yard with a string trimmer. But at the end of the day, we can teach them how to cut grass. But we said, here, I need you to run this business for a week. They're going to fall flat on their face because they don't know business. It's business one-on-one, man. I can't stress that enough. And that's why I like you. And I love genuine people that actually like to help people succeed.
Exactly.
I don't care about the stripes. We just don't stripe down here. You've been down here. Have you seen a stripe yard?
We don't stripe either. And it's more about cleanliness with us. It's all about how to cut, cleanliness, nice edges, and no weeds in the bed. That's really all it is around here. And there's really not too much that, you know. I mean, and everybody can critique on the internet what your job is. Oh, you'd be fired. You'd be doing this. Like, my customer's happy.
It's the same thing with pricing, dude. Like, you've been around, so you know each market is different. I may get more than someone up north gets, or they might get more for up north than I would get down here. And my biggest flat on my channel is 2.5 inches. Y'all scalping, not centipede. Centipede likes to be cut low.
Yeah.
It's a heat. It's a drought type of. I mean, you do a lot of sod. Yeah. It likes to be cut low and maintained low. It's a lot of centipede grasses down here. Don't get me wrong. A lot of grass out here is crabgrass too, because a lot of people down here in the South do not understand the fertilization, the herbicides and all that. But most of the yards down here is centipede, and I get more flack about that than anything. 2.5. We would scalp our yard. Yes, you're cutting tall fescue. Bermuda, or I don't know if St. Augustine's up there, but if you go to Florida, they have a lot of St. Augustine.
We have a lot of St. Augustine.
They don't even drop the deck. I know a lot of companies that don't even drop the deck. They just mow. Yeah. So it's different strokes for different folks at the end of the day. It's different areas. My market may be a little bit, and you're in Pooler right now. Dude, this place is booming like no other. I get probably 15 to 20 calls a day just for Pooler.
Really?
And that's what I'm out here doing now, quotes. When me and you linked up, I was like, hey, I'm already in Pooler. Meet me out here, park, whatever. I didn't know you had the whole setup. I thought it was going to be phone. So that's why I was like, let's meet somewhere, whatever. If I known you had all this, we could have met up at the garage and been more, because people walk around looking. I don't care, but.
Yeah. So man, our channel's also about business. It's called The Addicted to Success, but it's also about adversity and problems and overcoming problems. And I believe that value for the people listening is, what are some things what's your biggest thing that you've overcome? What's the one thing that almost put you out of business, that almost said, you know what, I'm fixed to go back to a paycheck because this ain't worth it? Do you have something like that?
Oh, yes. So when I first started, I had my John Deere mower, my regular steering wheel mower, and then I bought a zero turn, gravely. So the first one I had wasn't that bad, man. But the second one, there was a bunch of times, dude. And it goes back to do your research. I thought it was a commercial mower. Technically, it's not. Mm-hmm. But, dude, I was cutting the yard, dude, and then literally the casters fell off. Not one, both. And I was like, oh, and I'm trying to figure out how to bounce back from this. I got to get these yards done. I'm my biggest critic.
List has got to be done.
And you said, I'm my biggest critic. I'm my biggest competitor. There's been times where I was like, do I really want to do this? Phone calls from clients that's bitching about a $5 fix or something that could be handled next time. It wasn't big. It was just a lot of adversities. And then what almost made me stop was when my full-time job was trying to offer me more money. And at the time, I didn't know what I could make in lawn care, bro, or landscaping. So I was like, yeah, I might stay. It's just that full-time job paycheck, man.
That they almost get you, I don't know how to say it, but just like used to, and that comfortness of that steady paycheck.
It's the steady paycheck.
You can make more going out on your own, but you got to kill what you eat.
Yep.
With a paycheck, it's served to you. And I tell people all the time, like, it's a different world when you got to kill what you eat too.
And so, because I got off track with that, at the beginning, dude, when I was doing a lot of quotes and bids, I wasn't winning them. And I was like, dude, I can't keep cutting my neighborhood. This ain't going to work. And this is at the time I was part-time. Mm-hmm. So I was like, dude, I don't want to work for this company no more. I 10 years and busted my ass. And the people that don't work get all the pat on the back, while the person that goes above and beyond never gets nothing. So I could never grow. I wasn't winning bids. So that's when I started educating myself in business. And I was like, I'm doing something wrong. Yes, I know how to cut grass, but I need to explore my business options. What am I doing wrong and not getting these jobs? Am I underbidding? Am I overbidding? And the jobs wasn't coming at first. I mean, I get a lot of questions on, man, you're so far now. How'd you do it? But they've seen a 30-second video.
Exactly.
They didn't see the first couple of years where I was chasing and grinding. Mm-hmm. And man, as I know, the beginning of lawn care is a hustle.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I compare it to the dope game.
Hell yeah.
Lawn care, residentials is commercials is the long, steady longevity money.
Hell yeah, you gotta.
So I wasn't winning bids, and I started getting in my own head. So I say, that's why I say the man in the mirror, compete with him, beat him every day, and you'll be successful. And I love being that I'm a mechanic too. When my equipment goes down, I fix it.
Yeah,
that
would save me so much money.
Dude, I don't take it to the shops because the workforce is so slow right now.
Hell yeah.
So they're talking weeks at a time to fix one little spindle. And I'd rather spend the money on a spindle as 3 bolts, a couple Sunday fun day maintenance, and just replace it and keep it going. But yes, I mean, as I know, being a business owner, there's going to be a lot of time. Even when you're successful, there's going to be times where you're like, dude, it ain't worth it no more. Because like I tell everybody, if you work a 9 to 5, you get to clock out and go home. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. There's no clocking out. That phone will ring. So you got to learn how to deal with adversity and go around it.
One of my biggest things was I wasn't charging enough. I started getting educated on YouTube, listening to it while I was out there, but I wasn't charging enough. And every time something went wrong, it almost put me out of business.
Every time.
Got so fucking. And then my motor blew up. A little bit over $2,000, and I couldn't even spell $2,000 at this time.
Yeah.
And it almost put me out of business. Luckily, my distributor threw a brand new motor on there and said, just pay me when you can. I brought him $500 a week until it's paid. I gave him everything, but he kept me in business, but it opened my eyes. It's like, I thought I was the only one out there doing honest lawn care work because I was charging way less than everybody else and everybody else. But every time something broke, I couldn't pay for it. Anytime a problem happened, anytime anything happened, I couldn't pay for it. So I was like, there's a major issue here.
Yeah.
I'm not the honest one. I'm the stupid one. So that, and I think part of just getting out there and figuring it out, learning what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, because if you're out there underbidding, man, you don't leave no margin for maintenance and funds or anything that, like, if a motor goes down, you're able to pay it. I remember that too, man. If something, like when them casters went down, dude, I thought it was going to end me. And we're talking about $100 part, man. I was like, well, how do I get this? And I had to drive all the way to Brunswick. And I'm like, oh, how do I manage?
Family, I mean,
It's bad now, but now it's I hate to say it, I don't even think about that because I plan for the future. Everybody asks me, well, what do you do for the wintertime? Most of the time I save up. But now I'm in my career now where I have yearly contracts on commercial, and I even got yearly contracts with residential. I show up, and they're like, even if it don't need to cut, just act like you're cutting.
those are the best ones.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah.
So I think I diverted that one off.
So we talked about, the first couple years in landscaping, how to grind and hustle. One of my biggest failures was work-life balance. In my eyes, as a father and a provider, I've got to make money. I've got to build this business. No matter what, I've got to put in 100,000 hours a week if possible. But it was actually, it was costing me my family time. But I was saying that I was doing it for my family, which, my little girl and everything needed me then, which she was a lot younger. But so saying all that, like what beginning versus now, how important is work-life balance and stuff like that to you?
I went through the same thing. I still go through it because I'm a work addict. Mm-hmm. It goes back to I want to provide a better life for my family than I've ever had. Like I said, I grew up dirt poor, and that's why I think a lot of people resonate, and I think that's why a lot of people come to us because they see the realness. Mm-hmm. We didn't get handed a $1 million paycheck and invested our company, but family time is very important. I still have struggles balancing it, especially with the TikTok that's blowing up now. My wife jokes with me, she's like, how do I get attention from you? I'm like, well, ask a question and I'll give it to you. Now, but so at the beginning stages, it's a hustle. There is no family time.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but it's because you got to outwork the competition. Lawn care is oversaturated. Every year I see new trucks, and then that's when I call them the Facebook marketplace. Mm-hmm. Lawn cares, because they're going right now. August is the dog days of the summertime, and you can go buy everybody's equipment right now because it's too hot. So balancing family time is very important because at the end of the day, that's who we do it for. And if we're not spending time with them, then we get left in the dust, and then you miss out on first walks, the proms. You miss out on a lot of things if you don't balance it. Now I'm learning how to balance it a little more. I've gotten a little better because I've learned the comments can wait. They're still commenting. And then my thing is when clients call, I like to feel accessible. That's the trust factor. They know that they called me, I'm going to answer my phone. 90% of the time, voicemails. But family time, if you're new in this industry, make sure you balance your family time because if not, you're going to overwork yourself. And when you come home, there's not going to be a family to come home to.
Heck yeah.
So I know I went all over the place with that question because I deal with it. I think that's the most important. How do you balance family time?
Oh, yeah.
And lawn care, running a business, because like I said, we don't clock out.
Especially as men being providers, it's my job. So when someone calls me with a job that I can potentially make $1,000 profit for, I got to go see that man.
Yep.
Because my daughter, my whoever needs something, and that $1,000 cushion is going to help.
And if you don't show up, the next man will.
You're right. There's another man who's, I run my business like someone's trying to take it all away.
That's how you got to run it.
Because there's somebody else who will sacrifice, who will come, who will communicate better, who will do a better job, who will market better. And if you're not fighting against that guy.
A lot of times it's first come, first serve.
Yeah.
Because they done called maybe 14 companies before they called you and you answered. The most thing I get when they call me is, oh my God, you answered. I'm like,
I'm so bad about that.
Like, what do you mean? Like, I answered. It's my job to answer. She said, I done called 10 companies. Nobody answered. So, and I'll cut them more off. That's a bad thing for me. If you out here, you see me cut and you see me, girl, we must. I will cut them more off to answer that call.
You're supposed to.
But, and then my guys over talking about, hey, we're done. And I still got to finish mowing because I didn't talk to the customer. I like to talk, of course. Mm-hmm. We doing podcasts, TikTok. We like to talk.
Let it run our mouth.
So I got to learn to to let it go to voicemail sometimes.
I have some yards that I don't like to go cut that I will purposely let my guys go cut because I know if I go to that job, the customer is going to come outside and talk to me for 30 to 40 minutes while I have two men at $15 an hour on my clock. So that conversation just cost me $15.
Yep.
And it, you hate to be rude. You hate to not be that. But I mean, at the end of the day, time is money, especially when I got people on my clock. Now, if I'm out doing something, I come bid a job, I'll do. I got people when I feel them dollars going up and up and up. I mean, $30 an hour paying out for two hands.
Yeah,
I mean, that adds up quick.
It adds up real quick. And then I have a bad problem with that because I feel like it depends on the client. There's a lot of elderly, and you got to think they might not see nobody for another 2 weeks. So it's hard.
I've said that before.
It's so hard to not just give my 10, 15 minutes, but at the end of the day, them 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes adds up. And if you have a couple of those on your route, 30 minutes here, 15 minutes here, 30 minutes here, you're looking at over an hour and 15 minutes. It's gone.
I had a boss man that told me, he said, 1 3 to 4 man crew that takes an extra 15-minute gas station stop 5 days a week, 1 time per day, comes out to $7,000 in cost in a year. And that just stuck with me. It's like, holy shit, I never thought that 15 minutes. But
that's what a lot of people don't think about. They just think, oh, we're pulling up and getting gas. It takes 15, 20 minutes, but add it up. At $7,000 of revenue, that could have went in a different direction in your business. So
I'm so bad about taking my own time and set, landscaping projects. I'll get everybody off my clock, and then I'll get all the materials. I'll go get the machine, and I'll have everything ready because in the morning, if you're riding around, you might spend $60 just getting some stuff together. You multiply that times 5 days, that's $300 a week, $1,200 a month. There's
a lot of times where I don't go to bed till late because I'm in my trailer. Already got everything. I know what I need for this route. We're going to move this mower here. I'm going to use this mower. Got everything. And in actuality, should we pay our employees to do stuff like that?
It depends. I could go yes and no on that a lot of the time. Now, 5 years in business, yes, pay them to do that because I'm just going to fix that into my pricing. When I first got started, hell no, that's what I need to do. But also, I've gotten it a little bit better, where I don't have to fight for my bids as much. I can charge a little bit extra than the other guy because I've developed that trust.
And you develop enough clientele. See, I remember when I first showed up to bid jobs, I wanted this job. When I got out the truck, I told myself, you're going to get this job. I don't care what I got to price it, I'm going to get this job. Now I show up to jobs, I don't care if you don't like my prices or you like my prices. I'm giving you this is what it is. I guess it kind of sucks for, our viewers because I'm going to give them advice. All right, well, price this accordingly, but if they're just starting out, they're going to underbid themselves. It's the nature of the beast. We all do it. Yeah. So I don't.
As I underbid a lot, and there is some good to it as long as, and I'll still kind of underbid a job if it's a good one that I want to, if I feel like I can do a before and after or make a short video and it will sell other jobs, I will use that as an investment. When I first got started, I was cutting grass and doing projects for way too cheap. People would have probably not hired me, but because I documented what I was doing, before and after pictures, made little clips and stuff.
They see the work.
It was an investment to later that sold more jobs for me. So it's not, if you're going to do it and you're going to underbid, at least document.
It's the same thing with me when I pay it forward. Like that hedge job in my neighborhood with the elderly lady that lost her husband. It took me 20 minutes to do that job. Mm-hmm. But I got a video of it. Mm-hmm. And I can use that for my website. Yeah. And it's marketing. So I took it as, okay, I did the work for free, but it took me 20 minutes. I was already in my neighborhood. 20 minutes, so whatever the job would have cost, I took that in my head as that's me paying for my advertising video. Yeah. So.
Well, and then, as business owners, we always try to, everything's so cut and dry, money this, money that, is it making money? If it's not, get the hell out of my way. And I got a couple customers. I got one that was my secretary last year, and she told me, she said the right damn thing, but she told me one time, she's like, Matt, because I cut her grass when she worked for me for free. And she made the comment, she said, you keep me from having to date a loser man by cutting my yard. She hadn't worked for me for 6 months, and I still hadn't taken her off the schedule because I don't want her dating some crappy old guy just to help get her. And then she was like, and then after a couple months, he's just going to stop cutting it anyway. Yeah. So, but, and that's one of my favorite yards because I can go do that now. I can put some labor towards there, and I can help that lady out. And it's not about, I can go make money. I've become really good at making money.
Yes, sir.
But the feeling that you get to honestly help somebody, to honestly provide a service that honestly helps somebody, I mean, that's better than money to me.
To me, it is. It's just because you make somebody's day, man. If there was more of that around in the world, we wouldn't be living in this world we live in.
Yeah.
But I get it. It's all, is it how we was raised to get it self first?
Yeah.
Because there was a time where people actually scratched each other's back. Nowadays,
I think that there's so many people trying to get out on you and charge you money, and every mistake that you make costs you money in business, that you're just get so cut and dry and numb to it. It's like, money, get out of my face if it's not. You know what I mean?
It's became the number one priority in this world.
Because that's your oxygen with a business too. You can fix any problem with money. You can throw more labor at it. You can buy new equipment. You can do everything with money. But if you ain't got it, that's your oxygen in business. I don't really care about money. I just know I need it.
You need it to survive.
To do what I want to do. So how are you making? You said you got 20 phones. How are you making the phone ring? Is it just your name? You doing some ads? You doing what? How are you making the phone
So in our area, man, and this goes back to advertisement. I listen to the customers. When I put all the yard signs out or ads on Facebook or what the case may be, when a person calls me, first and foremost, I ask them, how'd you hear about me? And then they would say, Google, Google, Google. Every now and then there'd be a sign on the tree, but it was Google, Google, Google. So, and when they call, which you also have to decipher what they're saying. A lot of them, I'm sure you can relate to this. Oh, my last landscaper didn't do the job. He doesn't show up. Was it the landscaper or was it the client? Was it a bad client? Because come on, if we're doing lawn care to make money, that's a paying client. Was she more hassle than the money was worth? So I go above and beyond. I communicate. I go off of route management. So let's say if I show up to your house in Cold Tree property and I put it on a Tuesday route. Tuesday, you're getting your yard cut every other Tuesday or every Tuesday, whatever we set up weekly or bi-weekly. Communication is key. They know when I'm coming. They know when it's done. They know when I'm leaving. And word of mouth is traveled around here. And plus the reviews that I'm a dependable lawn care guy. I do quality work. And I go above and beyond. I put clients first because in customer service, that's basically what we are. Customers is always right. Whether we agree with it or not, they're always right. So and it goes back to the oversaturated market. There's a lot of fly-by-night companies that show up and they just don't do the work or they don't show up. They might cut it on a Tuesday. They might cut it on a Friday. But Grow It, We Mow It, we cut it on a Tuesday. We cut it on a Tuesday. We cut it on a Tuesday. They want the reliability. They're first and foremost paying us to cut their grass, so they don't want to cut it. They don't want to have to chase me to do lawn care, just like I don't like to be expected to chase you for payment.
Exactly.
But I have become, around in our area, the most reliable landscaper around here. I put the customer first, and that's what they want.
And yeah, I run into that myself. And I am the exact opposite. When I go get a new lawn mowing customer, I'm going to say, your day is Tuesday, but I might come on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday because we do a lot of projects.
Yeah.
Stuff happens with that. But I've found if you communicate and let them know but what happens is when you tell them Tuesday and nothing else, and then you start going to different days and all that, like, well, I thought you said my day was Tuesday.
Yes.
But if you explain to them, like, well, I do half weeks just so you don't look for me or feel disappointed, and I will always communicate to you. You
communicated that, and I tell people that all the time on videos. Outline it in your estimate, or however you do estimates or invoices, outline it in there. So when residentials, I don't do a lot of contracts. I send out an estimate, and it's got the line items. And in the description, it says bi-weekly or weekly lawn care. This is what it consists of: mowing, edge and string trimming, blah, blah, hedge and shrubberies done as needed, when needed, or however we set it up. Everything is outlined. So if they come to me and say, this wasn't done, we didn't quote that.
And you signed it.
You signed it.
What I also like that you put in there that I'm going to start putting in mind was when you made the thing about I send you a text. So if you don't have the backyard unlocked, I was like, that's smart. That's why I like TikTok. I try to.
We can all learn from each other.
Yeah, I try to over-explain just to the point where there's no confusion. But I was like, I like that. I like that he has put it out there that if you're not ready for us, it is not our fault.
Now, if I was a company that didn't send reminders, who's at fault?
Yeah,
it would be my fault. Then I would have to somehow come back and cut the yard. But because I communicated before this service ever started, I send reminders. I think I over communicate, but in our line of work, I don't think you can over communicate. I send reminders like a little bit later this evening, about 6:30. I'll go through my whole route and I'll send them individually text. Yes, it's time consuming, but it goes back to that personal relationship. I know some companies that send group messages. I can't stand a group message because when you text it, it ding. If she texts it, ding, and you can't get out of a group text message. Now you got a whole bunch of numbers of people that you don't know who's texting. So I don't never group text. So I send reminders just to let them know, hey, lawn care reminder for tomorrow. That serves different purposes. You might have had a birthday party today. You might have a picnic table. I don't mind doing little stuff every now and then, moving something out of the way. But if it becomes a every service thing, I got to charge for my time. And if I send a reminder and you don't lock the gate, that's on you. That part don't get service, and I still want full price because when I come back the next time, guess what's overgrown? The backyard. So it's the little things that go a long way, and communication. Your customers know that even though we set it up on Tuesday, I might cut it Monday, Wednesday, but long as that's defined in the initial, nobody can complain.
Yeah.
But me, I like to stick because I do so many. I have a problem of letting go.
Yeah.
My company has shifted more on the high end. But I can't forget it. I don't want to call them low end because I just feel like that's bad.
More basic.
Yeah, basic lawn care that when the summertime is over, they don't want service no more. So, but I can't let them go because I remember where I came from. They were there when I first started with my regular steering wheel John Deere mower. A kid, or I wouldn't say a kid, but a man that was just doing it on the side. I just can't let them customers go. And that goes a long way too.
I have the same thing, and I have people that expect me to trim their bushes for $60 when I won't even crank them up for $150.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? But it's like Mr. Sonny has been my customer when nobody believed in me. You know what I mean? Like he was there. I taped a flower on his damn mailbox. You know what I mean? Like, and he messed with me. And I've been messing with him for 5 years now. The dedicated, like I feel, you know. And,
it's hard to let them go.
But
or
when
even
you start running 7 guys, all $15 are around the area, and then Mr. Sonny calls, that's where I started running into problems because literally we were overbooked. We had more work than we knew what to do with, and now we had to go do jobs that not only we didn't make no money, that were technically costing me money and putting me more behind on the schedule. So that's one of the things that I'm having trouble to totally let go of. Because at the end of the day, I have a heart for those that, you know, believed me when I didn't even believe in myself.
It's almost, to me, it's one of them things where, like you said, they believed in me when nobody else did. But if I let them go,
somebody might not take care of them.
Yes, because
I get it.
It's so bad. That's why I do a lot of properties. We have focused on more of a route optimization. I focus in. We do a lot of cookie cutter homes. I notice a lot of people that watch our videos up north, they're doing big ass.
I do big yards. I do 45 minutes. No job is less than 45 minutes.
See, if I'm at 45 minutes, I'm mad because they're cookie cutters. A property, I know for sure 10, 15 minutes tops. We can get in and get out.
I don't have one property that's 10, 15 minutes.
But see, that goes back to the market. But what's so crazy in our market is we charge more than, I don't know exactly what y'all charge for them large yards, but when I give my prices out, people are like, oh my God. I'm like, but y'all cut these big ass yards for $40? I don't know what you cut for, but most of my viewers are like, oh, that's a $40 yard. I'm like, that's a big property you just cut. And you're striping it? I don't care what they say. Striping takes time.
Yeah.
Because a couple of them was like, no. I said, how do y'all get your stripes to pop? Oh, we go back over it.
Yeah.
You double cut. You just told me you double cut, but it's supposed to be faster than me just.
But that's the thing up there. In my neck of the woods, we got a lot of pine trees, a lot of stuff like that. So we spend more time on picking up sticks, spraying for weeds. You know, we're everything inclusive, you know, trim, whatever. I like to do my trimming separate than when I'm doing maintenance. I hate doing trimming and maintenance on the
We're the same.
Dude, if I'm going to trim, I want to trim all day long.
That's what I left Fridays and Saturdays open for, is rain days for first and foremost. But I don't like, it's something about when I show up to a property, I just want to maintain it. I don't want to have to do the hedges. It just, I like to do my hedges on a separate day that I can focus on the hedges, and we're the same way when it comes to that.
I got a guy who runs a big landscaping business, probably 10, 15 trucks. He's got 2 trucks that all they do is trim bushes, put out pine straw, pull weeds. 8 people, they're only, and they do that. And when you train your employees and they're doing the same thing over, the consistency and the profitability is just so much better.
It's a lot larger because the consistency at first is slow, and then the more you do it, it becomes a routine. Now, sometimes I like to trim bushes because I don't know how y'all, I get a lot of people, oh, put a tarp down. Now, if it's a high-end job, yes, I'll put a tarp down and I whatever. 90% of the time, we trim them, I blow them out of the bushes, I close my my shoot blocker, and I mulch them up. I'm running edge blades. It pulverizes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, I didn't even try those, but what we do is we blow it out, we rake up 90%, put it on a tarp, and then we just kind of blow that little 10% back in there. Unless it's like fresh mulch or something like that, but not
that's the ones I kind of hate when they want to do. It's the new jobs basically. Their hedges are overgrown, but they don't want new mulch. And I'm like, oh, I would so much rather put new mulch down because I can trim the hedges, get bulk of the stuff up. Because you know well as I know, you're not going to get every leaf out. Half the time it decomposes and goes into the soil anyway. So I'd rather do a heavy trimming, get 90% of it out, and then remulch it. Because then it just, but you can't, some people don't want to afford or pay for mulch and hedges at the same time. So, sure. And I notice a lot of companies too, they're like, oh, we don't want them clients. What do you mean you don't want them clients? Just because some people don't want golf courses. They just want a maintained yard.
Well, it's also about the employees too. Because like when you're not on that truck, the easier you can make it, the cheaper cheaper employees you can get. The higher value shit you're doing, you got to pay people more because what I tell people all the time, if you go do 9 yards good and 1 yard bad and do that every week, you will go out of business. I made some major mistakes. I tried to make someone a crew leader last year. He was a brother-in-law of mine, and I tried to make him a crew leader. He wasn't a crew leader. He wasn't ever going to be a crew leader, but I tried to make him, and I lost 2 accounts every week. But we did good, and then like he was just he'd have 2 bad yards, but the rest were good. But the people were still paying the same, and they were getting, that shitty, and, they get shitty service twice, and then they don't see, you're just transitioning from you to having your guys. You're not going to have them much
That goes back to some people just are not detail-oriented.
You're right.
That's what lawn care is. You got to pay. And I see a lot of companies that have missed the mailbox. How do you miss the mailbox? The most focus point? Because what does somebody go do every day? They check their mail every day. And you're missing the mailbox? Like, I get on my guy all the time about missing the mailbox. I'm like, dude, you can't miss that mailbox.
Mailbox, walkway into the house, and I got a multi-millionaire. He's got a huge-ass pool. There's a bed right there where he hangs out. That bed right there is the most important bed
of all.
Not to have weeds in because he literally sits there at eye level, drinks beer, and watches that bed. So, of course, when I was doing apartment complexes, you want the entrance and the office building. You can have, in the back 40, you can forget to weed eat it for a month, and it's but you better have that entrance and that office done right. You know what I mean? But those are just common sense things that a lot of people don't have.
It don't. It's the focus point. I'm not saying miss stuff. But you got to focus on the focus areas that people see every day. There might be a little spot in the very back of the corner that you might have didn't hit this time. You forgot, but they don't see that. But the walkway, I don't know, mailbox is my pet peeve. I see other companies all the time. I'll ride by and they leave. I just picked up one last week. She said, I had a company cutting it. They never edged my yard. They said it wasn't part of their service. I said, who don't edge walkways as part of that's basic lawn care.
I might charge them to get it right.
Oh, yeah.
Then I'm going to edge it.
The overgrown ones is initial fee, but I'm just saying the basic package, mowing, string trimming, edging, and blowing off. Who don't edge while they cut grass? Now, a homeowner might not do it, but I get that. But a company not edging? Like, wow.
I thought the same thing. Now, everyone's we're going through some things in the country. Next year, next month really isn't promised us, financially. So what are some things that you're doing to kind of soften the blow and prepare yourself for if it does get bad? You save?
I saved, dude. It took me 6 years to buy a new truck. I haven't had a truck payment for like 10 years.
I still don't have a truck payment. And I'm thinking about getting one, but I'm so scared to like...
I get that, and I watched a video where you're saying, and it's smart, pay everything off. If the recession or whatever's going to happen,
lock it up.
You can, if we have to go back to a 9-to-5, we can put it all in the stuff or whatever the case may be. But the main thing I got a new truck for is my LB7. I spent like $6,000 at the beginning of the year to do injectors. If you know anything about LB7s, they're known for injector problems. It's still not 100% right. So I got to put it in the shop because I just don't have time to do it myself. So if I put that truck in the shop, I have a little Dodge that you've seen on the videos, but it just can't really pull what I need it to pull. Yeah. So if my LB7 goes in the shop, my revenue's slowing down.
Yeah.
So and one of my best friends, my day ones, we conversate all the time, and he's like, you got to spend some of your money, man. Quit hoarding it. Spend something nice. You work hard. And so the LB7 is about to go put in the shop. I can hook it up to the trailer, and my revenue doesn't stop.
You're right. I've got a guy. So I've been trying not to get a note. There's a guy that he's younger than me. He's doing really well for himself. He's my landscape distributor, but he said, let me tell you what I've learned over the years. He said, you're going to pay a note. Whether you give it to the bank or you give it to the mechanic, you're going to pay a note each month. And if you miss 1 month, you're going to make it up on the mechanic next time. And that's where I'm getting. I got my truck that's paid for, but I'm averaging out over $500, $600, $700 a month. I may not do it 1 month, but the next month I put in $1,200 or something with the mechanic fees and stuff, and then I'm out. And
you're out on the revenue of that truck moving.
They're telling me a week, and then it takes 2 weeks, and then I got somebody that will loan me their truck every now and then, but I used to have to rent a truck.
See, maybe 2-3 years ago it would have been a little bit different because we could get parts. The dealership could get parts. Now you're, like you said, the ETA might be a week, but really it might be 3 weeks before they get the parts to ever fix your truck. And that truck, it's under warranty and all. Something happens to that truck, they gonna fix it. And it's the reliability. Every time I get in that truck, it's going to crank up and make me some money. So it's been a long time since my wife got all the new cars, the Caddies, the Camaros. Yeah. I had the 2006 Dodge, and then I got lucky. About 4 years ago, I bought the LB7 before everything went up high. Mm-hmm. I paid $8,000 for that LB7. Mm-hmm. I could sell that truck right now for $25,000. But I love that truck. I'll never get rid of that truck. And then everybody else, I had people on videos, oh, you just bought that truck for videos. First and foremost, that's a no-no. I bought that truck for me.
Yeah.
I don't care about TikTok to that point where I want to go buy a new truck to impress somebody. Because I'm not, what am I going to impress them and then go under? No, that ain't. So I bought that because it's been a long time coming.
Oh,
I worked hard and that is so, and I don't mean to jump off track, but I seen one of the questions, what is your biggest accomplishment in business? That's solely in Grow It Remote's name. My name ain't nowhere near that truck.
That's awesome, man.
I built my personal credit years ago. We all have childhoods when we got in trouble and stuff happened. So I built my personal credit up, but I got more intrigued with business credit.
Yeah.
Buying stuff in the business name. So let's say, knock on wood, what you're talking about, our country, if it goes under, yes, I may have to get that truck back if everything goes under, but it's Grow It Remote.
Yeah.
And everybody bankruptcy ain't nothing but a company's way of not paying and then restarting.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't want to do it, and I'm not telling anybody out there watching to go bankrupt, but if you ever see a Grow It Remote 2, we know what happened in the world. Right. So, but that was one of my biggest accomplishments, man. I went to the dealership and I was like, well, here's my EIN number. I've been working hard, paying payments on my business, and they came back, no questions asked. You're approved. Grow It Remote. I'm like, so I don't have to sign in as a grantor or nothing? Said, no, this is Grow It Remote. Run it. So that's awesome. One of my biggest accomplishments that I've bought something.
That would be one of my goals to eventually start getting business credit up and stuff. That's
and awesome. Business credit is way different than personal credit. It is not a score. All it is payment history. Where a company like I tell people all the time, start a Uline account. It's a net 30. You go in there and buy you some safety glasses or safety gloves. They invoice you and you pay it 30 days later. It's all it is payment history.
Heck yeah.
And a BP card and stuff like that. In our line of work, fuel is very important. So I got a BP card, I use it, and then when the bill comes in, I pay it off. Because I already got to pay for fuel anyway. So it's just payment history. That's one of my biggest accomplishments right now to me is buying stuff in my business name. I thought that was so awesome. Cool.
I think that's cool, man. That's something where I eventually want to start heading. Now, one more thing I want to talk to you before we wrap this thing up. All the guys out there just getting into a service business, whether it be lawn care, pressure washing, whatever, what's the advice you give them about starting a business? Maybe not so much about equipment and stuff like that, but what's the biggest things you're going to tell somebody this is what you need to any business?
Oh, man, you can go so many different directions with that one. So when you're starting out, like you said, it doesn't matter, lawn care, plumbing, it doesn't matter. I recommend starting off slow, part-time. And why I say that is because, at the beginning, you might not get work. You might not get any work because nobody knows you. So I've seen people jump out full time and fail. So if you're working a 9 to 5, start out slow. Focus on customer service, providing quality work, and doing what you're saying you're going to do. You're going to have to advertise a little bit on social media. I'm sure you're familiar with that. And then word of mouth kicks in. Everybody thinks, I see a lot of people comment, word of mouth is the king. Not at first, it's not, because nobody knows you.
Yeah.
So do what you say you're going to do. Do not become a business that makes money and then spend all your money. I see a lot of people in business, they'll get way more money than they're ever used to and go blow, 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 blow because they think it's coming in. As a business owner, you said it earlier, we're not guaranteed tomorrow as a business owner. So save up your money. And before you go full time, without rule of thumb, my barber, she started 2 haircut places. And, bro, there's money in haircut. I did not believe there was that much money in haircut. But she said, take your bills. And it doesn't matter what it is, cable, whatever that you're used to being in your household, and you want to at least multiply that by 6 so you can have a 6-month safety net. So if stuff goes down, you can still maintain. So if I had to give anybody advice, save and invest in yourself, because nobody else is going to believe in yourself like you. Make sure you invest in yourself, be reliable, and don't focus on competition, because there's always somebody better than you. I tell people all the time, don't focus on skills. You got to match my hustle. If you want to beat Grow It Remote, you got to out-hustle me.
Hell yeah.
So save up is my number one key, and invest in yourself. It takes money to make money. So start off slow. Don't let nothing discourage you. If, I only got 5 accounts. That's 5 more than you had yesterday. Now your next goal should be 10.
Yeah.
So I know I rambled and went all over the place with that question, but just save, because it's not promised tomorrow.
You're right.
And just like you said, spending money on the repairs, it starts to add up. But you have a safety net, and I kind of compare it to truckers. I know a lot of truckers that start off driving trucks, and trucking is good money. Mm-hmm. They get all this money and then blow it. And then when it's time to repair that expensive truck, $10,000 repair, they're like, oh, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So save up and invest in yourself. Start local. If you live in a neighborhood, I have the blessed to be living around a lot of subdivisions. I live in a subdivision, so I was able to start in there and then expand out. I've learned in TikTok, there's a lot of people that don't have neighborhoods.
You're right.
They just have a lot of dirt roads. Like one guy said, what is edging? I can't edge a dirt road. Well, nothing beats a fail but a try. I would like to see that video, you edging the driveway. But to sum it up, man, and save and invest in yourself. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses, who has all the nice mowers.
Yeah.
If I had to, I would weed eat the whole yard.
Yeah. You got to do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do and save.
And you'll get to where you need to go.
But I see a lot of young kids starting out lawn care. You see that?
Dude, it trips me out. I have some little 8th graders that just love me. I'm like, that is so cool.
It is.
But...
Because we got to start with the youth. Because there was a saying my mama used to tell me, I feel bad when your generation takes over. And God rest her soul, if I could float up to the heaven gates and say, Mama, wait till this new generation takes over, because we are in trouble. But I see a lot of kids on TikTok that wants to do lawn care, and that keeps me motivating, because you reach one, you teach one.
Yeah.
When we're old and we're on TikTok watching Nate's Lawn Care for Existence take over us, I can value that, because they asked us for information.
Heck yeah,
we fueled them, and so I love it, man. This is all new.
Dude, I'm having fun. I'm so glad I drove to Georgia. So glad I got to meet you. Dude, love what you're doing with TikTok. I mean, y'all see it. I'm here with the man, straight from him.
I just cut grass.
We'll see y'all later.
Grow Remote.